This video is brought to you by FanDuel. Sign up today and battle your friends in daily fantasy challenges to win real money. Sign up using promo code WatchMojo. Although they might not admit it publicly, many supporters of these teams would rather beat their enemy than win a championship.
Mike Vernon with a great left, follows up with the right.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 rivalries in sports.
It's the league's longest-running rivalry, a heated matchup that involves fans, friends, and families.
For this list, we're looking at the best rivalries between professional teams. As such, we won't be including college teams such as North Carolina and Duke in basketball, or national clubs like India and Pakistan in cricket.
He's claiming it, and he's gone. Ishaq Ahmed is gone.
Number 10. River Plate versus Boca Juniors. Every good rivalry needs a name, and it's hard to beat the Super Clásico, which describes the matches contested by these two Buenos Aires, Argentina rivals. In an event labeled one of the 50 sporting things you must do before you die by The Observer, the teams have played over 200 times, with Boca holding a slight advantage in the wins department. The rivalry gets even more heated off the field, however. Though both teams draw fans from all walks of life, stereotypically, Boca supporters come from the working class, while the wealthier members of society typically support River Plate. This sometimes results in violence. For example, in 1968, when a brawl got out of hand, and 71 fans were killed by a falling gate.
They've got a fire hose on top of the roof. Both sets of fans are getting hit, so it's not like one can laugh at the other.
Number 9. The Los Angeles Dodgers versus the San Francisco Giants.
There has rarely been a dull moment since the Dodgers came to town in 1958.
These teams first met on the diamond in 1890 when they were both based in New York City, and the hatred between them hasn't softened, even after both franchises relocated to the West Coast. These California teams have squared off over 2,400 times, with the Giants holding a slight advantage in the wins and championships columns, boosted by their success in recent seasons. Based not only on a rivalry between teams, but also on hostility between cities, the conflict has at times spilled off the field and turned violent. For example, in 2011, a Giants supporter was assaulted by two Dodgers fans in the Dodgers Stadium parking lot, while in 2013, a Dodger fan was stabbed to death not far from AT&T Park after a Giants win. Number 8. The Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington Redskins. Motivated by a rivalry once ranked by ESPN as the NFL's best, these two franchises have combined to win 8 Super Bowls. And they often have to go through each other to get there, as they've played twice during the regular season every year since 1961.
Touchdown, Redskins.
The rivalry began off the field, with Cowboys founder Clint Murchison Jr. and Redskins owner George Preston Marshall trading insults and bad blood before Dallas was even a team. And although the Cowboys hold a regular season advantage of 65-43 as of 2015, the Redskins are 2-0 in the playoffs against their hated foe. With both teams struggling in recent years, the rivalry has simmered, but it's still one of the best.
Touchdown, Dallas.
Number 7. New South Wales versus Queensland.
And they've come in from all directions. Wow. Now the punches are flying in there.
This rivalry doesn't have the international publicity of some of the others on this list, but it's been called Australian sport's greatest rivalry and has been attracting bigger television audiences in recent years. Called the State of Origin, it pits the Blues against the Maroons in a best-of-3 series held once a year. Players are selected to each team based on where they played their first ever senior rugby league game. A rough and often violent series, even for rugby league, the series was exceptionally even for the first 20 years or so, but Queensland won 9 of 10 contests between 2006 and 2015. Number 6. Liverpool versus Manchester United.
Lamini comes in. Oh, yes. Well,
While Arsenal-Tottenham is another great English Premier League rivalry, we chose Liverpool and Manchester United. first competing in 1894. The clubs have since played each other a couple hundred times. While both teams' glory days are behind them, Man U has won more contests between the two. Also, despite the fact that Liverpool fans used to love boasting about having the most league titles in history, Man U now holds that distinction too, with 20.
Fantastic, you know. They hate us, and we hate them.
In this rivalry, the hatred extends to fans, coaches, and even players, who publicly declare their hatred for the other side. Man U's Wayne Rooney once stated that he grew up hating Liverpool, while Liverpool's Steven Gerrard claimed he'd never keep a Manchester United shirt in his house. Number 5. The Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears.
Programs here, the NFL's oldest rivalry, Packers and Bears. Programs, $2.
The first game between these two rivals resulted in a Bears player breaking the nose of a Packers player with a sucker punch to the face. Is there any wonder there's been a heated rivalry ever since? Given the dominance of the Packers post-2008 in the Aaron Rodgers era, it might be surprising to learn that the Bears hold the advantage in this series as of 2015, albeit barely. In 2011, the teams played each other in the NFC Championship game, the first postseason meeting between the teams since 1941. The Packers won that game 21-14. And went on to win the 5th Super Bowl in franchise history that February.
That is it. The Green Bay Packers get the big-time defensive stop, and there will be no 7th trophy in Pittsburgh this year.
Number 4. The Boston Bruins versus the Montreal Canadiens.
Back to Ellery, scores! 2-0 Montreal.
The Canadiens' storied history has resulted in rivalries with several teams, including the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Quebec Nordiques.
Away they go. Spare goaltenders, everybody's on there now, and the melee starts.
However, nothing compares to their conflict with fellow original Sixers, the Boston Bruins. The clubs have faced off more than any other two teams in NHL history, with the rivalry leaning in favor of Montreal. With the big bad Bruins known for their size and strength, and the Habs praised for speed and skill, there's no love lost between these two teams, and that feeling has lasted generations. In 1955, a violent encounter between Boston and Montreal helped spark the politically motivated Richard riot that tore through the Canadian city, while one game during the 2010-2011 season ended with an astonishing 187 penalty minutes. Number 3. The Boston Celtics versus the Los Angeles Lakers.
The Lakers repeat back-to-back titles.
This rivalry is less about hatred and more about success. They are two of the most successful teams in NBA history, combining for 33 championships as of 2015, or nearly half of all NBA championships ever won. Considered by many to be the best rivalry in the NBA, they've met up an incredible 12 times in the NBA Finals, with the Celtics holding a 9-3 advantage.
I hated Larry. No other word to really use. And I disliked the Celtics.
The rivalry reached its peak in the 1980s thanks to Boston's Larry Bird and LA's Magic Johnson, when the teams met in the finals in 3 out of 4 seasons. Number 2. The New York Yankees versus the Boston Red Sox. This rivalry dates back to 1919 when the Red Sox owner sold the iconic Babe Ruth to the Yankees, kicking off the curse of the Bambino and a decades-long championship drought for Boston.
Oh my goodness. Don Zimmer and Pedro Martinez.
The animosity really escalated in the early 2000s, however, with multiple on-field fights and confrontations. Although these teams first faced each other in 1901, they've only met in the ALCS 3 times as of 2015, in 1999, 2003, and 2004. In 2003, the Yankees stunned the Red Sox in Game 7. Boston would get its revenge the following year, however, becoming the first team in baseball history to rally from a 3-0 deficit to win, culminating in their first World Series title in 86 years.
The Boston Red Sox are world champions.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Look out, he's pulling his hair. Adam's going to get something. He just pulled his hair.
and he's going to get clubbed by Grant after the block. Here comes Grant. There's the block. Now watch the bang. Boom. We got hit in the head. Then he hits the court very quickly.
Number 1. Real Madrid versus FC Barcelona. As they're two of the most popular and valuable teams around, this is as intense a rivalry as you'll ever see. In fact, every game contested between these football clubs is called El Clásico, or the Classic, and for good reason. And while El Clásico has been overshadowed in recent years by the competition between individual players like Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, the tension remains. Motivated by politics as much as it is by the thrill of the game, these teams represent the two largest cities in Spain, and historically, two different sides of the political field. Infractions on the pitch and verbal jousting off have made this one of the more compelling rivalries in any sport.
No juegan dos equipos solamente, juegan dos conceptos futbolísticos, dos conceptos de club de fútbol. Y por eso lo hace más grande todavía.
Do you agree with our list?
This would finally be the year they'd beat Boston.
What do you think is the best rivalry in sports? For more exciting top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com. This video is brought to you by FanDuel. Sign up today and battle your friends in daily fantasy challenges to win real money. Sign up using promo code WatchMojo.